The Caribbean is not just a paradise for sun seekers, it's a powerhouse of economic growth in 2024. While the world is uncertain, the Caribbean defies the odds, with several nations posting jaw-dropping growth rates and redefining their futures. From Guyana's oil-fueled boom to Grenada's tourism surge, these economies are thriving like never before. But what's driving this incredible momentum? In this video, let's dive into the 10 fastest-growing Caribbean economies of 2024, backed by IMF data, to uncover the secrets behind their success. Whether it's renewable energy projects, booming tourism, or groundbreaking investments, these nations are setting the stage for a new era of Caribbean prosperity. Join us as we explore the trends, challenges, and opportunities shaping the region's economic future and discover the top 10 fastest-growing Caribbean economies of 2024. So, where did we get the numbers? Data on the fastest-growing Caribbean economies in 2024 comes from the International Monetary Fund, IMF. The IMF has provided comprehensive economic analyses of many countries, including GDP growth projections, sectoral performance, and key investment trends. By leveraging this data, we can gain valuable insights into each country's economic growth rate and highlight what is driving this growth and the impact it will have on its future. So, without further ado, let's get started. Starting with Grenada with 3% GDP growth at number 10. Grenada, the Spice Isle. Despite its small size, it has been doing consistently well in recent years. In 2024, Grenada's economy grew by 3%, driven by a booming tourism sector and a surge in citizenship by investment (CBI) revenue, which resulted in a large budget surplus, increased government deposits, and reduced public debt. The government has successfully focused on managing the volatile nature of its tourism and investment revenues, strengthening public financial management, and addressing risks in the non-bank financial sector. While growth for the country has been strong, Grenada still faces some challenges to see this continued trajectory. Capacity constraints in tourism sectors and investments are beginning to slow the country's economic expansion, as evident from its 1.75% decline in economic growth compared to 2023. Still, if the country can expand its tourism sector, prudently manage investment revenues, and reduce its dependence on imported energy and fossil fuels, it is poised to see continued growth in 2025 with a projected growth rate of 3.9%. After Grenada, we have St. Lucia with 3.9% GDP growth at number 9. St. Lucia is another Caribbean country that has seen remarkable growth in recent years. The country experienced robust economic growth in 2024, with its GDP expanding by 3.9% in 2025. This marked the fourth consecutive year of GDP growth since Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre took office in July 2021. Strong performances in the construction and tourism sectors primarily drove the country's economy. Tourism, in particular, showed significant recovery, with stayover arrivals surpassing 2019 levels by October 2024. The government's economic policies, including the MSME Loan Grant Facility, Youth Economy Agency, and Community Tourism Agency, supported local businesses and contributed to this growth. Additionally, St. Lucia attracted over $1.1 billion in foreign direct investment, and multiple government-backed public sector projects will inject over $600 million into the economy through 2026. The future is bright for the country, as the IMF predicts it will see great growth of 2.6% in 2025. Next, at number 8, we have Barbados with 3.9% GDP growth. This one's a tie. Alongside St. Lucia, we have our next well-growing economy, Barbados. Barbados experienced robust economic growth in 2024, with real GDP expanding by 3.9%. This growth was primarily driven by strong performances in the tourism, business services, and construction sectors, according to an assessment conducted by the IMF during its visit in 2024. The tourism industry played a crucial role, with tourist arrivals through September 2024 increasing by approximately 13% compared to the same period in 2023. The construction sector further demonstrated the country's resilience, which grew by 7.2% compared to 2023. This is despite Hurricane Beryl's impact on the country in July, which damaged the fishing sector and coastal infrastructure. However, the IMF expects the country's impressive growth to taper off at 3% in 2025, which is still remarkable. Coming at number 7, there's St. Kitts and Nevis with 4.4% GDP growth. St. Kitts and Nevis experienced moderate economic growth in 2024, with GDP expanding by 4.4%. This growth rate represented a significant uptick compared to the previous year's 2.3% growth rate. The tourism sector, which remained a cornerstone of the economy, grew by a whopping 8.2% in 2024, contributing significantly to the overall economic performance with 104,500 tourist arrivals. This development helped boost positive growth in many services-related sectors including construction, hotels and restaurants, wholesale and retail trade, financial services, and transportation. As Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew stated at the Budget 2025 National Forum, the future of St. Kitts and Nevis's economy is bright. The Prime Minister highlighted plans to construct a new MRI building and hospital, invest in solar and geothermal energy, and expand the cannabis industry. By the way, if you're finding this video valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more insights. Thank you. This brings us to St. Vincent and the Grenadines with 4.5% GDP growth at number 6. St. Vincent and the Grenadines have just slightly outperformed St. Kitts and Nevis with a GDP growth of 4.5%. While this number is down quite significantly from the previous year's 5.8%, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' economy is still doing remarkably well. This is driven by continued recovery in the tourism sector and strong investment in infrastructure projects, such as the purchase of a mobile harbor crane to boost cargo handling capacity in the port of Kingstown. This might be why the country reached the fantastic milestone of surpassing $1 billion in GDP in early 2024, expected to reach $1.25 billion by the end of 2025. Large-scale public and private investments supported the favorable economic performance in 2024, which contributed to the overall economic recovery from the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and the 2021 volcanic eruptions. Let's hope St. Vincent and the Grenadines will achieve its target of 4% growth in 2025. And now we enter the top 5. Coming at number 5, there is Dominica with 4.6% GDP growth. Dominica is one of the smallest economies in the region, but it does not mean they are not doing big things. The country's economy is growing, hitting a growth rate of 4.6% in 2024. Like many countries in the region, much of this growth was due to tourism, with stayover arrivals finally returning to pre-pandemic levels. Agriculture expansion initiatives and advancements in priority infrastructure projects also contributed to economic growth. For example, the government's ambitious public sector investment program, including projects to enhance climate resilience and transition to renewable energy sources, played a crucial role in sustaining economic momentum. Despite these positive developments, Dominica continues to face challenges related to its high public debt, with the country's debt-to-GDP ratio reaching a whopping 97%. This leads us to Dominican Republic with 5.1% GDP growth at number 4. Dominican Republic is the first and only Spanish-speaking country on this list. The country saw an impressive 5.1% GDP growth in 2024. As the biggest tourist market in the Caribbean, it is no surprise the country's growth was driven by tourism. However, monetary easing, increased public investment, and growth in exports helped take the country's economy to the next level. The tourism sector played a significant role in the economy's performance, as it generated $10 billion in direct income and attracted a record level of foreign direct investment of approximately $4.5 billion. It is no surprise that the country's growth rate is expected to stay constant with 5% GDP growth, according to the IMF for 2025. In the top 3, we have Belize with 5.4% GDP growth at number 3. Belize has been doing significantly well in managing its public debt and its economic growth in recent years, achieving 5.4% GDP growth in 2024, far surpassing the regional average. This growth was primarily driven by key sectors such as tourism, construction, wholesale and retail trade, accommodations, transportation, and business process outsourcing. The country's GDP per capita increased by $5,500 in just 4 years, and in the second quarter alone, the economy grew by an impressive 10.5%. While the country's growth is positioned well for the future, debt dynamics are expected to remain a challenge. The country's fiscal deficit widened due to narrowing its primary surplus and the acquisition of the port of Belize. Still, however, the country can see strong growth in 2025, with GDP projected to grow at 2.5%. Now, coming in at number 2 stands Antigua and Barbuda with 5.5% GDP growth. The twin island nation of Antigua and Barbuda didn't stay behind and saw a remarkable GDP growth of 5.5% in 2024. This impressive performance was largely attributed to the country's hosting of the United Nations Small Island Developing States Conference and co-hosting of the T20 Cricket World Cup, both of which significantly boosted various sectors of the economy. The tourism industry, a key driver of Antigua and Barbuda's economy, continued to grow strongly, while construction activity remained buoyant. On top of that, the government has implemented a package of revenue measures in 2024, including increases in taxes and a broadening of the tax base, which has helped improve the government's fiscal position while not slowing its growth trajectory. This economic expansion in 2024 represented a continuation of the country's strong recovery trajectory following the COVID-19 pandemic, building upon the growth rates of 8.9% in 2023 and 9.5% in 2022, with 2025 expecting growth of 3.5%. And finally, at the top of the list, we have Guyana with 43.8% GDP growth. This is probably no surprise to those prudent about developments in the Caribbean. Guyana tops our list again with an outstanding GDP growth of 43.8% and almost doubling the country's economy. Building upon the remarkable 33% expansion witnessed in 2023, this extraordinary economic performance was predominantly fueled by the rapidly expanding oil and gas sector, with offshore production reaching a milestone of approximately 645,000 barrels per day from the Scarborough block, operated by ExxonMobil and its partners. However, the oil-driven economic boom had profound ripple effects across multiple sectors, as the non-oil economy demonstrated robust resilience, growing by 13.1% and showcasing the country's diversification efforts. Sectors such as agriculture, construction, financial services, and the digital economy accelerated dramatically in 2024, with numerous large-scale projects transforming the national landscape. The government and private sector invested heavily in urban infrastructure, transportation networks, and public facilities, creating thousands of jobs and stimulating economic activity. The extractive industries like mining and quarrying expanded by 55.9% on their own, while the manufacturing sector expanded by an impressive 13.5%, showing that diversification is fueling much of the country's success. With such an impressive run, international financial institutions and global economic analysts consistently highlighted Guyana as one of the world's fastest-growing economies, with projections suggesting the country will continue to see an astounding trend with 14.4% growth in 2025. The country's economic transformation will continue to attract significant international attention, positioning Guyana as an emerging economic powerhouse in the Caribbean region and a potential model for resource-driven economic development. The Caribbean's fastest-growing economies in 2024 have showcased remarkable resilience and dynamism, fueled by booming tourism, strategic investments, and innovative policy reforms. These nations have capitalized on strong economic drivers, from resource extraction to citizenship by investment programs, paving the way for continued development. However, the road ahead is not without challenges. Global economic uncertainties, climate change vulnerabilities, and shifts in international regulations pose potential risks to sustained growth. Capacity constraints in key sectors like tourism and financial services will also require strategic planning and investment to maintain momentum. Despite these hurdles, the Caribbean's future remains bright. With ongoing diversification efforts, technological advancements, and infrastructure development, the region is well positioned to navigate these uncertainties and unlock new opportunities. As governments, businesses, and international partners continue to collaborate, the Caribbean is set to strengthen its global economic standing, ensuring prosperity for future generations. Before we move on, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these Caribbean economies surprised you the most? Do you think Guyana's oil boom will continue to dominate? Or will another country rise to the top in the coming years? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We're excited to hear your perspective. Check out this video on the top 10 most indebted Caribbean countries in 2025. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on the latest Caribbean stories. This is Caribbean Focus. See you in the next video.